Alright friends, so we are here to discuss Eureka Grade 5 Module 3 Lesson 10, continuing to work with adding fractions with unlike denominators, this time working with sums greater than 2. Of course, make sure that you're pausing and rewinding as you need, so that way you can have appropriate understanding and be able to work out the problems. And on that note, make sure that you have something to write on and write with, so that way you can work out these problems with me. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and just start with a problem that we'll do together. Let me go ahead and make sure that I have everything set up as we need. Let's not write in yellow, let's write in blue. Alright, so we're going to start with 2 1/5 plus 1 1/2. Okay, so when I'm adding this, a couple things I'm going to think about, right? We know that I'm going to go ahead and add my wholes first, my integers first. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it using my associative property. So I'm going to think in my mind, I'm going to do 2 plus 1 first, and then I'm going to do my 1/2 plus my 1/5, excuse me, plus my 1/2. All right. So as we're continuing on, where does that get us? Well, 2 plus 1 I know is going to be 3, right? So now, when I'm thinking about that 1/5 plus 1/2, I know that they don't have common denominators, so at this point, I can't add them, right? I don't have like units. How am I going to get like units? Well, I can think of the, what is a common multiple that 5 and 2 have together? Well, when I'm skip counting by 2s, when I'm skipping by 5s, I'm going to both say 10, right? So I'm going to go ahead and make 1/5 into tenths, and I'm also going to make 1/2 into tenths as well. How am I going to do that? Well, to do that, I'm going to go ahead and do my 1/5 times 2/2. I know I can do 2/2 because that's the same as multiplying by 1. My identity property tells me that when I multiply by 1, my value does not change. And then to do it to my halves, I'm going to do the inverse, this time multiplying by 5/5. All right, let's keep on going. So now, let's go ahead and simplify this. We have 3 plus 1/5 times 2/2. That's going to give me 2 tenths. 1/2 in terms of tenths is going to give me 5 tenths. So altogether, that's 7 tenths. So this will be 3 7 tenths. So 2 1/5 plus 1 1/2, that's the same as 3 7 tenths. All right, let's do this next one together. Ooh, excuse me, I hit the wrong thing. There we go, not time to move to our problem set quite yet. All right, so here we go. For this next one, I want us to do 2 4/5 plus 1 1/2. So similar denominators. Go ahead and take a moment and pause, and I want you to go ahead and use your associative property. Show me what you're going to add first, what you'll add next. Hit play once you've done that. All right, so you should have done this already. We're going to group our wholes together. I have 2 and 1. Adding that together, and then I'm going to do my 4/5 plus my 1/2. What should I be thinking about when I see 4/5 plus 1/2? Yes, so they are not common denominators. I do not have similar units, so I need to go ahead and find a common denominator. What is that common denominator going to be? It's going to be tenths, right? All right, so go ahead again, pause, go ahead and work out the rest of this problem, and then come on back for us to debrief it. All right, so you should have gone ahead and set up using your identity property to go ahead and find that common denominator. I'm going to multiply 4/5 by 2/2, 1/2 by 5/5. This is the exact same as when I draw it in my area model, just now we're using the number representation. All right, so when I simplify that, I have 3 plus 8 tenths plus 5 tenths. All right, so that would have given us how much, friends? That's right, 3 13 tenths. Now, we are not done here, right? Because when I'm working with 3 13 tenths, oh my, I realize that that 13 tenths is an improper fraction. So let's go ahead and break it down. 13 tenths is the same as 1 whole. I'm going to pull out that 10 tenths. How many more tenths would I need? 3 tenths. Okay, so now I know that I have 3, I have 1 whole, and I have 3 tenths. So let's put that all together. I have 4 wholes, because I have this 3 and this whole, with 3 tenths left over. So our final answer would have been 4 3 tenths. Let's go ahead and do a couple practice ones. Looking at this next one, let's go ahead and do 2 2/3 plus 5 2/5. I want you to go ahead, pause right here, set up what you're going to add first, what you're going to add next, and figure out your common denominator, and then we'll debrief. So hit play once you've figured that out and figured out your common denominator. Make sure you're actually working it out. All right, so what are you going to be adding first? So we know I'm going to go ahead and take care of my wholes. So you should have 2 plus 5 written on your paper. And then we'll have the 2/3 plus the 2/5. What is that common denominator going to be between 3 and 5? Well, it's going to be 15, right? It's going to be 15, so I'm going to be working with 15s. All right, now that we're at a good place, go ahead and pause, work out the rest of the problem, and then we'll come back and debrief it. All right, friends, so we have 7. As we work it out, we have 7 plus 10/15. 10/15 is equivalent to 2/3 plus 6/15 because 6/15 is equivalent to 2/5. I'm not changing my value, I'm just changing my representation. Again, we run into kind of a similar snafu from before. I have 7 and 16/15. What am I going to do? Okay, so I have 7 and 16/15. Let's go ahead and change that to a mixed number, 16/15. So I can go ahead and get out one additional whole. So I can pull out 15/15. How many more 15ths would I need to get to 16? Well, just one more. So how many total wholes do I have? I have 8. Because I have that 7 from before and then that one more. So I have 8 and 1/15. All right, friends, let's go ahead and try one more. And then I'll go ahead and set you to do your problem set. Okay, so the next one that you should try, I'm going to go ahead and have you try the entire thing by yourself, is 3 1/2 plus 4 7/8. So go ahead and pause and work that out. All right, friends, so we should have gotten 7 5/8 because the least common denominator is 8, right? When I'm skip counting by 2s and 8s, I both say 8. Now, some of you may have gotten 7 and 10/16 instead. That is okay because 16 is a common denominator. But remember how we've worked on simplifying fractions to the largest part? So definitely on like an EOG sort of setting, we would want to do the 7 5/8. They are both equivalent. All right, friends, go ahead and make sure that you've reached out to me with any and all questions. Remember, I can always work out problems with you live as well. Go ahead and move on to your problem set. Make sure that you're turning in that problem set, and then you can move to the exit ticket for this lesson.